What's good, y'all? I'm just getting ready for bed, and I had a thought. Never, 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 never make a man the center of your world. It's not a good look. And you know where I'm getting it from? Hmm. How many of you out there watched The Little Mermaid? I did. I watched the original version. I watched the live version that had Halle Bailey in it, and it was cute until I really took a deeper look at that movie and what it actually the message that it was giving to young girls and even some women. um I don't know, I guess I just kind of been on this whole thing um when it comes to feeling good about just being outside of a relationship. One of the things that I did not like, that I didn't care for, and let me just say this: if you go back and you look at the original Little Mermaid, it's called Le Petit Siren. And the original version of that movie was meant to give a lesson to girls that the later versions of The Little Mermaid did not give, took the whole lesson out. But I'm going to tell you, you should not be making a man the center of your world. When the Little Mermaid, had her little fantasy, and I think that a lot of women, we kind of get caught up in this whole idealistic fantasy type of, unrealistic, dreamy kind of thing when it comes to guys that we like. And the Little Mermaid fell in that category. We idealize a certain kind of relationship. We make it, I think, way more romantic in our minds than what it actually ends up being. And for what we say, that right guy, we would do damn near anything. And my warning is, don't do it. Don't be like the Little Mermaid. Don't make a guy the center of your world. One of the things that she did was she made a deal, so-called, with the devil. And in the original version, the odds were stacked against her because the sea witch knew that she really wasn't, that the Little Mermaid was not going to stand a chance. And that's why, you have the whole poor unfortunate souls kind of song. But they played it up. In real life, things don't always tend to go the way that we want them to or even hope that they will. And I don't think that that's a good message to give little girls, that you should be willing to give up a part of your soul or your whole soul for a relationship with a guy who at the end of the day is not giving up shit. He didn't give up anything for her. In fact, when you come to think about it, she had to get help in order for him to actually become interested in her, because he really didn't have any interest in her. It wasn't until, um, you know, different situations kind of started to push them together. But initially, he wasn't thinking about her. When it comes to little girls, women, because a lot of women do this, you will do damn near anything to be with a guy that you like. The one thing that I didn't like about this, I think that was the most disturbing to me, is that she gave up her voice. And think about that. Like, really, really think about that, what that is saying. In relationships, or, and it's two things that bother me. She gave up her voice. And two, she changed herself. Giving up your voice in a relationship and not being able to speak up for yourself, not being able to say whatever your wants, needs, or desires are, or even being able to advocate for yourself, I think is just, it's not a good look. I feel like it can almost be damn near dangerous, because that puts you in a position where you can be taken advantage of, taken for granted, and it's just not good. The other thing is, when you don't have a voice for yourself, a guy can just run all over you. Again, taking advantage, taking you for granted. Then she changed herself. So that right there speaks volumes, okay? How many women out here are doing all these crazy things? Like, you see some of these celebrities that are changing the way that they physically look, getting all these fucking butt injections, getting breast implants and stuff like that. Don't tell me that you're doing all that shit for you just because you want to feel good about you, when you really are desiring to have that Coca-Cola bottle shaped look. You know, we working hard to have that waist trainer so that we can get the attention of guys and have them look at us. But then we say that we don't want to be objectified and have them looking at us and only wanting us for our body. But you too, and not to say that anything against being in shape, it's nothing wrong with being in shape. But then you go so far to do all these different things to look a certain way for a guy to get male attention, but then you get mad when he treats you like an object. You know, you want to wear the scanty clothes, but then you want respect, you know, for your mind, but you're not presenting yourself in any kind of way. Females tend to change a lot of their appearance of who they are for the attention of men, and a lot of it is the wrong men. But just the fact that she had to change who she was, she couldn't come at him as an actual mermaid and show who she really was. There's talents, abilities, and gifts that we have that I think we tend to sometimes dumb ourselves down when it comes to a guy. And I've seen this where women are really smart and they'll get with a guy that's not as smart just so that he can like them. They don't want to really show what they're actually capable of, because they don't want to hurt his pride. So we tend to kind of dumb ourselves down when it comes to certain things. But outside of that, it's like you might take on acting like you like certain things when you really don't like them because you want this man's attention. There was this episode in Sex and the City where Samantha, she started seeing this guy who was like really into sports. And she's, you know, all amped up and everything. And Carrie's like, wow, I never seen you, you know, so into sports like this before. And she's like, oh, it's only because, you know, if they don't win, then I can't be with such and such, because, you know, they would have sex at the end of everything. And so their sex was contingent upon teams winning. And so now you got Samantha sitting up here doing stuff that she don't normally do, watching games. How many times do we compromise a part of ourselves for a guy simply to get something that we feel like we want, but then how much is it really worth it at the end of the day? And to have to constantly, it becomes tiring to try to be something that you're not, act a certain way that you're not, do things that you don't really feel comfortable doing because you're trying to change yourself for that man. But Eric didn't, in that movie, The Little Mermaid, did not do one thing. As far as I know, he did not do one thing to change himself for her. She had to accept him the way that he was. So why is it that we do things to change ourselves for guys and don't feel like we can present ourselves how we are and be accepted? It's just not cool. And that's not the kind of message that I want to send my kids. I mean, they're grown now, but I'm just saying. But I just felt like, this was something to think about. Never allow a man to be the center of your world. Doing things that you would not normally do, because it's like, if you can't just be happy and feel whole in who you are and know that the right guy will come along and accept you and love you for who you are, the other ones that you chasing, they're not worth it then. Trying to get their attention, they're not worth it. She made a deal with the devil. She lost her voice, gave up her voice. I won't say lost it, she gave up her voice. And she changed who she was. And the thing about it is, sometimes we give up the best part of who we are just to be with someone. And a lot of times, like that sea witch, other people can see how valuable certain talents, gifts, and abilities are that we have and place more value in them than we do ourselves. And that's why she went after that one thing, her voice. It's just something to think about, y'all. It's just something to think about. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just kind of in a different place right now. And I remember how hard I used to go for trying to be with someone and just really wanting to be in a relationship so bad. And it seems like now that I don't want it, I feel so much better. Like, I've always felt comfortable with myself, but when I tell you I feel so much better now, more confident I feel in my own skin and being who I am, especially knowing that I'm not looking for no relationship and I'm not trying to have anybody find me, so to speak. I'm just comfortable with being who I am. And I think that even at this point in my life, if someone were to try to come into my life, I'm not changing. They're gonna have to be accepting of who I am. But I feel so good right now that I don't even want to entertain a relationship because I don't want it to disturb my peace, what I have created inside for myself. There's always something that you have to do to maintain what it is that you want. And then this even goes into the Little Mermaid when it comes to she had a time frame in which she would be able to for her to do a certain thing in order for her to be able to seal the deal with that guy. Otherwise, she was going to suffer. And sometimes we feel like our opportunities are so limited that we don't see that there's other people that are available to us, or we feel like, this is it. This is like our one shot, because there's not going to be another guy that's going to come around like this one. But if you're working on yourself and you're being the kind of person that you want to be with, I guarantee you there's so many people out there like that. You can't be trying to desire to have someone or draw someone to you, manifest someone when you are in a scarcity or lack mindset. Stop desiring to have them and watch how many of them just come flocking to you. But again, like I said, never make a man the center of your world. Do not make deals with the devil to attain him. Do not change who you are, and most importantly, do not be willing to give up your voice for any relationship. That's it. But y'all check out the original version of The Little Mermaid, La Petite Siren. They've changed a lot, and I guarantee you, if you are a mother of a young child, or even if you know just an older person that has a younger person that's very influential in your life, I guarantee you the message that is given out now, if you really look at The Little Mermaid, you will not want that image to be given to as a role model to that young female. And think about all of the mostly all of the Disney female princesses are always waiting for or desiring and wanting to have that Prince Charming. We got to stop making men the center of our lives. There's so much more out here in life than just running behind having a relationship. So y'all just think about that. I'm going to bed.